Hi Maria, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm good, thank you for asking. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. My name's Alexia. I'm the intake coordinator at Florence Crittington. So I'm here to interview you to see if you're appropriate for our 30-day alternative detention program. So I kind of want to ask you, did your probation officer tell you a little bit about it?
Yeah, he told me, but I'm not sure what this is all about.
Yeah, so I can tell you a little bit. So this is a 30-day program. So Florence Crittington is a group home facility, a therapeutic group home facility for just girls. So basically, you'd be staying with us for the whole 30 days. You would be attending counseling sessions individually and with your family as well, at least 2 times within the 30 days that you're there. So after the 30 days, you will most probably have court, and the judge will then decide if you can go home or not. And we will give you a summary to take to the court to see kind of like how you did in the program and the goals and stuff like that that you've accomplished. So does this sound like something you're interested in?
I'm not sure if that sounds like something I like. So if I complete the 30 days, do you promise me I can go back home?
Yeah, so I can't promise you that you'll go back home because that all depends on you and your work that you do there at the facility. So it all depends on the judge and what he decides. So is that okay?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, okay. So I do want to tell you that I did talk with your parents and they did give me permission to interview you. And the JPO also knows about it. So before we start the interview, I do want to tell you that everything you say will stay between us unless there's danger to self or danger to others. I also want to inform you that I will be telling my supervisor about this interview to see kind of if we decide if you're appropriate for or not, but it also depends on you and whether you want to come or not. So is that okay?
Yeah, I guess that's fine.
Okay. So I want to start by getting to know you a little bit better. So tell me, what are some fun things that you like to do?
Well, I like to play volleyball with my siblings and color in my free time. I actually love coloring. It makes me feel relaxed when I'm stressed out or angry at my parents. I've been coloring more recently because I've been fighting with my parents.
Good. So it sounds like coloring's a good option for you to calm down. Is that right?
Yeah, totally. Especially if I get away from a difficult situation, I am in and just color in silence. I do this when I get in a fight with my parents. I go color in my room and it just makes me feel better.
Good. It's good to hear that you have something to relax with. So you mentioned you like to play volleyball with your siblings. How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 siblings, 2 brothers and 1 sister, all younger than me.
Good. So how do you get along with them?
I get along good. I take care of them a lot, and sometimes I play with them.
Good. It's good to hear you get along with your siblings. So you also mentioned you like to color when you get angry with your parents. Can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with your parents?
What do you mean about my relationship with my parents?
Yeah. So tell me, how do you get along with them?
Well, I get along with my mom really good.
Okay.
It's my stepdad that I don't get along with too much. He tries to tell my mom what to do with me, and that causes issues with my mom and me. Like, she listens to him more than she does me, and I think this is why I'm here.
Okay, so you mentioned this is why you're here. Can you tell me more about that situation and what happened that got you here?
Well, last week I tried to go out with my friends, and my stepfather told my mom to not let me go because I had gone out the night before without permission.
Yeah.
So my mom tried to stop me outside the house. So I grabbed a crowbar that was lying outside the lawn because my mom was on top of me. And I wanted to get her off. So then I tried to hit my mom because she was holding me down. Then my stepdad stepped in and grabbed it from me. They called the cops on me, and then they brought me here. I hate it here. It's hard to be here, and I just want to go back home. The girls here are so mean, and I feel like I do not fit in.
Yeah, I'm sure it's very hard to be here. I can't imagine someone that young to be in a place like this. So you mentioned you want to work on getting back home, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, if you do attend our program and you are appropriate for it, that could definitely be a possibility. So earlier you mentioned you tried to hit your mom with a crowbar because of your stepfather telling her not to let you go on a specific night, right?
Yes, but it's not like I did hit her. I mean, I was just angry in the moment, you know. I want to go back home and work on my relationship with my mom and my stepdad. Well, especially my stepdad. I also want to I want to be able to see my siblings, you know. I wonder where they think I am because they were already sleeping when all that stuff happened then.
Okay, so like mentioned, if you attend the program, this is definitely a possibility for you. I do want to mention though that you will have to work with your stepmom and your stepfather and your mom in counseling sessions to better that relationship, like you mentioned. So is this something you think you would like for yourself?
Well, I've never been to counseling sessions. I've heard that counseling is for crazy people, so I don't think this is something that I want.
Yeah, it's okay not to feel comfortable with something new. The idea of attending counseling and you've never been that, I'm sure it causes some anxiety for you. So, I mean, I understand you've never been through something similar, so it's okay to feel doubt about it as well. So tell me, have you tried anything new in the past where you felt like it wasn't a good idea for you?
Yeah, one time I tried tomatoes for the first time and it was great. I always heard people say they were gross, so I never really tried them.
Yeah, so Maria, this is a great example of trying something new. So maybe counseling will work the same as the tomatoes work for you, so we never know.
Yeah, you know, I think counseling might be good for my parents and I know I did wrong, and by trying to hit my mom, and I realize now that my decisions aren't always the best ones. I sometimes leave without permission and I don't come back until the next day. I get it.
Yeah, I'm glad you're open to the option of doing something new. It takes a lot of strength for someone to be open to something like that. And I do want to doing new things. It's not easy, not even for adult people.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a lot from you. So I also want to point out the strength that it takes for you to acknowledge that your decisions are not always the best ones, like you mentioned. So yeah, that's great of you.
Thank you.
So next, I kind of want to ask you about substance abuse. We usually ask this during every interview, so I don't want you to be worried about your response. And I do want to, it will affect if you will be accepted or not to our program. It's just kind of for us to gain a little bit more information on how we can better help you if you do attend the program, okay?
Okay.
So, have you in the past used any illegal substance? For example, marijuana, alcohol, meth, cocaine, bath salts, opiates, or any other not mentioned?
No, I haven't, but my parents think I do. I actually haven't. I do have friends that smoke weed, but I've never been interested in trying it because I know it's bad for me. I've not tried any drugs or anything like that. I really want my parents to know this about me, though, too.
Yeah, your parents will definitely know this about you, and it can be addressed in a counseling session if you do attend our program. So you mentioned earlier your decisions are not always the best ones, but I do want to point out that this is a good decision that you made, and it was a decision that would benefit you in the future, so that's good. So next, I kind of want to talk about some barriers you think you will encounter if you do come to our program the whole 30 days.
Are barriers like the things that stop me from doing something?
Yes, right.
Oh, okay. Well, I think one big barrier is my family. Since we're Hispanic, and my mom usually doesn't like to talk about our problems with other people.
Mm-hmm.
A second barrier, I think, would be my anger. Because when I get angry, I black out and I do things I regret, and and then like try to hit my mom. You know, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's understandable. So tell me, what do you think some things that we could do so we can get those barriers out of the way?
Well, first work with my family on opening up, since they're always keeping everything a secret.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
they never want to ask for help, and they need it because they're worried about what people think about them. You know. And while I think for my anger, it would be good to help to learn how to manage it and how to get like less angry. Because I feel like I would fight and people that are in the same place as me if they get me angry, you know, and I don't want to fight them.
Yeah. So these are all things that we can work on to get out of the way so you will be successful in our program. So you mentioned your family is Hispanic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think I could do to better work with your parents so they can open up to the idea of treatment?
I think it'd be good if they felt comfortable with you first. and if you really explain to them, what I'll be doing with you guys.
Mhm.
Also, if you get a translator, because they don't speak English.
Okay.
My mom will be open. She'll open up with people when she feels comfortable with somebody, especially if the counselor is Hispanic, for
Okay.
sure. Because she feels like she's being understood and they understand what she's going through.
Yeah, so I can definitely talk to your parents about the whole program so they feel more comfortable and get a translator. Also, I do want to mention we do have a Hispanic counselor on site, so I can work on getting her to work with your family if you want to come in, if you're accepted into the program. So you mentioned your mom does not like talking to people about her problems. So do you think this is what this was kind of the thing that got you guys in this situation?
Well, yeah, because she doesn't look for help, and sometimes I felt like I needed help to better how we get along and how I get along with my stepdad. I never wanted to try to hit my mom. I feel bad.
Yeah, so it sounds like you feel upset about the whole situation, right?
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah. So I want to let you know that your emotions are valid and it's okay to feel like that. So next, I want to talk about a little bit about what goals do you have in mind that you would want to work if you come to a program. I know earlier you mentioned that you get angry and you black out. Do you think this is a goal that you would want to work on?
Yeah, I'd like to work on my anger. I'd also like to work on my relationship with my parents, especially my stepfather.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So are there any goals you think you want to accomplish if you come to our program?
I think I'd like to work on decision making too, especially when I'm angry. Like, what can I do so that, like, dumb stuff, like trying to hit my mom, But I also want my mom to learn how to deal with me and not try to hold me down like that.
Yeah, I'm sure it was upset for you to be held down like that then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to summarize kind of like the goals that you identified. So you identified anger, decision making, and the relationship with your parents, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so these are all goals definitely very appropriate for our program, and they can be accomplished if you put the work into it. I'm sure you'll be able to. So from what I mentioned about the program so far, do you think this is something that will help you reach those goals?
Yeah, I think I'm getting more convinced that it'll help me and my family. I think one other goal I didn't mention is going home soon.
Yeah, definitely. So that would be our priority goal for your JPU and all your team, for you to go home. We don't want you to sit here in Durango and be in our program for more than 30 days. Yeah. So tell me, what changes do you think your parents will see in you if things are better?
They'd see no more arguing between us, me not going out so much without permission, and if I do go out, I'm gonna come back before curfew. I think that, I think that's what they would see.
Yeah, so these are all good visions. So how does this sound? How does this look for you, to you?
It sounds good.
Yeah?
It would be great to have peace inside the home,
Yeah, that would be great. Okay, so we're getting near the end of the interview. I have a few more questions. So one of them is, so have you ever had any past history of violence?
No, I didn't really fight in school. I mean, I did fight with my siblings, but it doesn't get physical like it did with my mom, and it sometimes is just playing,
Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like this is your only history of violence for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So one last question before we end. So do you think you are interested in the program?
Yeah, definitely. I think this program is a good option for me and my parents. Will you talk to my parents about it, though?
Yeah, definitely. So the next step from this interview for me is to talk to my supervisor and kind of inform him on how the interview went, and we can decide on there if you're appropriate or not for the program. I definitely don't see why you wouldn't be appropriate, but I do want to tell you I have to make sure first with my supervisor. And then once that decision is made, I will inform your probation officer, and he will basically come and tell you if you're accepted. You'll be at the program within the 2 days, within the couple of next days. I'm also going to talk with your parents and kind of tell them how this interview went, and then tell them about the whole program, because I know you mentioned you want them to feel comfortable, so they're open to the idea of treatment. So I will tell your mom when I call her though that we do have a Hispanic counselor, so she feels comfortable with that too. So are there any more questions that you have before I go?
Will my parents and brother and sister be able to come visit me if I go with you guys?
Yeah, so they will be able to visit you. We have specific days and times though that they can come visit. And then, yeah, so I can talk with your mom about that a little bit. So she feels comfortable and she knows that she can come visit. And you can also call them. We have specific times where you can call your family.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So is that a good idea?
Yeah, so she can bring my brothers and sister if I go with you guys because I miss them.
Yeah, I'm sure it's been hard to be away from them.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, they'll be able to visit you.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, so one last time before I go, I do want to remind you a little bit more about our program so you feel more comfortable leaving here. So, like I mentioned, you will be staying on site for the 30 days and you will not be able to leave. You will be attending counseling sessions and you'll also be attending group counseling with other girls. You'll be rooming with one other girl. You'll have another girl to a room. And so after those 30 days, you'll have court and then the judge will tell you where you'll be going from there, okay?
Okay.
Hi Maria, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. It's great to see you again. Can you believe you're done with the 30 days?
No, I can't. I remember when you went to interview me, it was like yesterday.
Yeah, me too. So tell me, how was court? What did the judge say?
Yeah, I was so happy when he said I could go back home. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And you know, this is all because of your hard work. You should be very proud of yourself. Give me a high five. Yay. So before you go home, I want to talk about how these 30 days have been for you. What have you learned?
You know, they've been good. I've learned so much. I learned how to make better decisions and what decisions affect my relationships that I have with my parents mostly. I've also learned to have a better relationship with my stepdad and my mom. I feel like we have a better relationship, but we still have some stuff we need to work on.
Good. I'm glad. It's good to hear that you learn about decision making and how these affect you. I'm also very glad to hear that you have a better relationship with your parents. I know when I interviewed you, you mentioned about working on anger. So did your stay here help you manage that anger?
Yeah, I learned some coping skills to work with my anger, and it's been great. Can you believe a coping skill is coloring? I mean, I already like to color, so that was a really cool thing that I learned.
Good. I'm glad you learned coping skills to manage your anger. I knew that coloring would use you and for your benefit. So do you have anything planned fun when you go home?
Yeah, I want to go eat out with my family for once and like not argue.
That sounds fun. Where would you like to go eat?
Maybe like Olive Garden. So we're going because my mom wants to celebrate me coming home and my hard work. So
That sounds great, Maria. You should definitely celebrate your hard work. You did very good. So are you excited to go home with your siblings?
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to be home with them. I feel like I haven't been with them like in forever.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're able to go back home with your siblings and your parents. So I want to ask you, have you seen any changes in your behavior, maybe like positive changes?
I did very good here and I learned a lot of things. I definitely don't get angry like I used to, so that's good. I also think more about when I want to do something. Like, there was a situation where some girl wanted to fight me here because she said I was talking about her and I wasn't, and I thought about fighting her, but then I came to the decision that I was not going to fight her because it could affect me going back home and doing better, and I really wanted to go back home, so I just didn't.
Good. So this is a good example of your decision-making skills and your anger management that you've been able to learn here. So that's very good to hear. So now it's time for you to use these skills when you're at home with your parents. So tell me a little bit more about how those counseling sessions went.
They were actually good and helpful. My mom loved the counselor since she was Hispanic. Thanks for that, by the way. And they really opened up to her, and so she, so that she could help us. I never thought counseling would help so much. Go figure.
Yeah, good. I'm glad to hear counseling was good for you guys. So next, I kind of want to ask you, where do you see yourself maybe in the future, like in a year or two after this?
hopefully going back to school and getting a job so I can help my parents. I really want to go do good and be successful.
Yeah. Yeah. So going back to school and getting a job are great goals to have in the future. So do you have any last questions for me?
Will I be able to call you when I go home or talk to you? Will you call me or to see how I'm doing? Or would you be able to come by my house?
Unfortunately, I won't be able to because your treatment ends here, so that means our relationship will end here too. So I kind of wanted to meet today so we can say our goodbyes, and I kind of want to know how are you feeling about that?
Well, I feel sad because I feel like you've helped me a lot, and my counselor too, and I want to spend time with you guys, but I'll be okay.
Yeah, so it's definitely okay to feel sad when something like this happens, but I just want to let you know that you do have the necessary skills to be out there on your own. It was great to have you here. I wanted you to know that. So before we do end our session, I want to give you a few resources so that you have them in case you need them. So one resource is the National Runaway Safe Line. So it's right here, and the number on there. The number is on there. Sorry, and so basically, if you ever feel like running away after an argument with your parents or anything like that, you can definitely give them a call and they'll be there to talk with you. They won't tell you what to do, but you'll have someone to talk to, okay? Is that a good resource?
Yeah.
Okay. So then the second one is a resource which is Family Service Center. So the number is on here on this one too.
Okay.
So they offer individual and family therapy. So I know you mentioned counseling was good for you and your family. So if you feel like you guys still need it, you can definitely give them a call and they'll help you with that. They also have anger management. So if you feel like you still need a little bit more coping skills, you still need to work on it.
Yeah.
After these 30 days, you can give it a call. So does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So are there any questions you have?
No.
Okay. So it was great, Maria, to have you here, and I know you'll do great back home.